welcome back to We Talk Cricket. I am a day late on this. Should have gotten it out yesterday, but had a lot of work to do, unfortunately. So I'm here now. Let's get down to it. The semi-final, second semi-final between New Zealand and South Africa took place yesterday, with New Zealand coming out victors and scheduling a strong rematch versus India in the final. Now, without further ado, let's jump into talking some stats for this match before we give you everything, analytics, and what we saw from a fan's perspective. We had New Zealand batted first, posted a mammoth 362 for 6. If that's the score you want to make in a semi-final and final, what a time to get it. Seriously, great batting performance from New Zealand. And honestly speaking, South Africa, you struggled. There's a big con. You struggled so hard in the bowling department. The pitch was made for batting. If plan A and plan B don't work, think outside the box. Your bowlers were bowling too short. They were bowling too full. Get a spinner on, trying to slow the run rate down. I only saw a couple of spinners bowl. You bowled a lot of seam bowling today, and that contributed to a large chunk of this total right here for New Zealand. Seriously, you should have pulled back just a little bit. We have Rachin Ravindra, top scoring with 108, his 5th ODI century. I think he's made all his ODI century in ICC competition so far, so the man must love this format. Really does, truly and surely. 108 leading the way for New Zealand. He received some amazing support from Kane Williamson, who made 102 as these two combined for a partnership of over 150 to set New Zealand up for a solid and strong total. Coming down the line, we had Glenn Phillips blasting the South African bowlers apart, making 49 not out to get New Zealand to that eventual 362. Now I will say this, South Africa, you did not bowl well in the depth overs. Too many runs, I'm sorry. You should have been able to clog that and just stomp your authority near there, because I promise you, you probably could have restricted them to at least 315 or 320, and that would have made for a heck of a game. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way for you. Like I said, the bowling was too full, it was too short. Now, bowling for South Africa, we had Lungi and Giddy picking up 3 for 72, leading the fight for the South Africans, and receiving some good support from Kagiso Rabada, who picked up 2 for 70, as line and length were the biggest issue here from a bowling attack throughout this tournament that was disciplined all throughout up until this point. Now, David Miller said it's because of all the traveling they had to do, it wasn't convenient, but I'm like, we are talking about international cricket players here. These guys are players that travel from venue to venue, even for domestic or T20 competitions when they got to play the day after. You can't tell me or say that it's not ideal. That's the life of an international cricketer. You just got to do what you got to do. You don't complain about it, my friend. You just roll with it, okay? You make it work and you put your best effort out there. Now, South Africa, in response, talking about best efforts, came out and made 312 for 9, with David Miller making 100 not out off of 67 balls, setting the record right here for the ICC Champions Trophy, becoming the fastest man to score a century in the ICC Champions Trophy. Well done to you. He basically achieved 100 off the final delivery of the South African innings. He received some good support up the order from Rassie van der Dussen, who made 69, and Temple Bavuma, who made 56, as South Africa were only able to get the 312. Now I will say this, yes, South Africa, you have their batted, but the batters who should have fired didn't fire. And what didn't help your cause is that you needed to get going early. You started your ramp up to get this runs a little too late. You should have been putting or pressing the attack on the New Zealand bowlers, basically from ball 1, saying, we will not let you settle, we will take advantage. You waited a little too late to get the oomph or the drive to try and get such a big total. Unfortunately, that's what really led to it. And on top of that, wickets were just falling all around. Van der Dussen and Bavuma had a good partnership. But other than that, you had people contributing here and there. Batters who've been performing this entire tournament just didn't get it today, sadly. But Miller stepped up in there. He said, yo, I'm going to get us as close as possible. Losing by 50 runs isn't that bad, especially when you fight coming from behind, from so far behind. it's worth it. 1-something for 6 to 312 for 9 is really impressive. So yes, you had a lot of cons, but you also had a lot of pro South Africa. Take that away with you. Don't look at it as, man, we had to fly here, we had to fly there, it wasn't convenient. Cricketers travel. Pro athletes in every sport travel to venues. They have to be prepared. You can't just say it's because you have to travel. I'm sorry. I gotta veto this one. Alright? So, anyway, bowling for New Zealand. We had Richard Santner, who picked up 3 for 43, leading the fight for New Zealand. And receiving some solid support from Glenn Phillips and Matt Henry, who both picked up 2 wickets for the Kiwis. Now, I will say even the Kiwis bowling wasn't that fantastic. Santner was really the main man that came in there and said, hey, let me get it done, let me try and take some wickets. And notice, the spinners contributed for like 5 wickets right there. So that's what I was saying. I was like, maybe if South Africa deployed or employed the same tactic, they could have gotten a couple more wickets faster like the New Zealanders did. But you know what? At the end of the day, New Zealand played the game like they wanted to win it from ball one. They put pressure, they attacked, they came out. Yes, they lost their way in the later overs where they could not contain the South African batsmen, where Miller really ripped into them. But other than that, they still put on a good showing. But that is a concern going into the final. They're going to play India again. Now, they were the only team to restrict India to such a low total so far. So I'm really, really interested to see what's going to happen in the finals on Sunday. And seriously see which one of these sides, India or New Zealand, who's going to come out on top of this. Let us know in the comments below, who do you think is going to win the ICC Champions Trophy? Will it be India? Or will it be surprise New Zealand? Because hey, you know we're going to have to talk about it, my peeps. And you know we always answer your questions. Where else? But right here on We Talk Cricket. And I'll catch you next time so we can talk some more. Later.